Welcome to
Chicago!
Welcome to Chicago, everyone. So we are here in the Windy City. So if you've been keeping up, I was at Notre Dame for a course, and Miss Christie was in Tampico. So I just saw her yesterday. She landed in Chicago, and this morning, we are here about to take the architecture cruise on Chicago's First Lady. So I think it's going to be quite an adventure. Join us.
And the firm that designed it is Jaeger and Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg with Daniel Bernard designed a Flatiron building in New York City. Now those temples on the sides are cleverly sized water tanks. And this building is also called the Jewelers Building. And it had a really unusual element inside where you could drive into the building and take an elevator up 23 stories with your car.
Wow, yeah.
To keep your bubbles protected. And the temple at the top was a speakeasy at one point called the Stratosphere Club. It was a contextual style of architecture.
Look at the
So
cars.
as your eye travels down our building with the stainless steel accents, the Leo Burnett building 2 thirds of the way down, you can see some shoulders on there that are referencing the other 2 buildings that are next to it in that postmodern way. Now this building was completed in 1989, and it's still home to worldwide advertising agency Leo Burnett. And the Leo Burnett Agency has brought us such things in the United States as the Jolly Green Giant, Tony the Tiger, and then the workers of Montgomery Ward back in the day. They would travel underneath the bridge where we're coming up here on our right to the next building we're going to see, which is the Montgomery Ward Warehouse or Distribution Center. So this building, 600 West, was completed in 1908. It was designed by Frank Martin. This is considered historic, Frank Lloyd Wright Fraley style of architecture. Wright is another Chicago favorite son. The current buildings are extremely horizontal. They hug the river. They're organic and they come up. So historic Prairie 600 West. Now, as I mentioned, this is where the warehouse was, so all the Montgomery Ward products were in here. But they didn't have robots like Amazon has in their distribution and zip papers. But this is the future site of Bally's Casino in Chicago. And they will have a dock here called Halstead Landing, where you'll land here and go to the casino. The casino is not set to open till 20. You gotta turn your faucet on.
Chicago Tribune.
Water and small fish. In the mid to late 1800s, Chicago was the fastest growing city in the world, with the population doubling every 10 years, and Chicago is swimming in its own sewage. People were throwing things in the river. You could walk across the river. It was a murky, sludgy mess, including waste from the stockyards. And where was the river flowing? Into our beautiful Lake Michigan. And where were Chicago citizens getting their drinking water from? Our beautiful Lake Michigan. Waterborne illnesses ensued. There are outbreaks of typhoid, dysentery, 1854 massive cholera outbreak. Something needed to be done. They needed a sewer system. Anybody from Boston on the boat? And so we told them, it's okay, guys. The solution to pollution is solution. It'll be okay. So in St. Louis, they launched a lawsuit. And the project was done. So the tower goes down. This bridge is up all the time. They raise it once a year. That works in the really strong. Now, we're coming back to the confluence. I love all the kayakers over on the side. But you can get a great picture up ahead of a train going by our upside-down wine bottle, slightly to the right, straight ahead of the building. Looking on the other side, the building itself only takes up like 25% of the lot. And you've got a great green space and food court there because of that core support there on the building. And sometimes as we go by, you can see the boat. We'll see, you can sometimes get a picture of our boat here at 150 right here this time. Yeah, there we are. So take a look kind of at the base there. You can see it's a little hazy. I don't think we approached the sun. But you can see that green space. One of our favorite restaurants is there. And this is really, truly an engineering marvel deck. So we're going by. We've got a nice walk there on the side of the building to go across and over to the river walk. We'll talk a little bit more about that building. This is the vacant abandoned building. And that's in the pandemic. So it actually went up in 2020. And it was designed by guest partners, same guys that brought us up down Wine Bottle. Now here they had a better lot to work with. It was a trapezoidal-shaped lot. And they came up with this idea of these sawtooth edges, door corner offices. But look at the stainless steel tridents on the front of this building that are actually supporting this building over a river walk. And over the years, legislation came up, we needed like 30 feet or 10 meters of open space in front of the building. And here, Dutch Partners actually frames their building over the river walk with this trident. And just next time on your left, just past the hood, you can see an Art Deco marble. It doesn't really look like a chair, looks like a throne. This is the Civic Opera House, and it was completed in 1929. So this is the vacant abandoned building, and it went in the pandemic. So it actually went up in 2020, and it was designed by guest partners, same guys that brought us up down Wine Bottle. Now here they had a better lot to work with. It was a trapezoidal-shaped lot. And they came up with this idea of these sawtooth edges, door corner offices. But look at the stainless steel tridents on the front of this building that are actually supporting this building over a river walk. And over the years, legislation came up, we needed like 30 feet or 10 meters of open space in front of the building. And here, Dutch Partners actually frames their building over the river walk with this trident. And just next time on your left, just past the hood, you can see an Art Deco marble. It doesn't really look like a chair, looks like a throne. This is the Civic Opera House, and it was completed in 1929. He's a pioneer of modernism by the name of Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. He had fled Germany. He came here to Chicago to become the Dean of Architecture at the school that eventually became IIT, or Illinois Tech. And Mies van der Rohe worked with our first Mayor Daley to make the city what it was in the 60s and to keep people in Chicago from fleeing to the suburbs. And Mies van der Rohe smoked a cigar and he had a couple of sayings. He said, "Less is more." Originally. So those exits give you that open space inside. And this is a health club now. And it happens to be the health club I go to in Oak Park. And it happens to be what I would do where I'd go to the health club and then I'd reward myself with a muffin from our iconic Chicago corner bakery after working out in the health club. So I think it's funny they got the corner bakery right in the community. Building It's contextual, pure it's flowing here. So it kind of evolved from modernism into postmodern. Now, just past the bridge, holy cow, what is this? It's Art Deco. Is it a skyscraper? It's a ground scraper. It is our old post office. The floorboards on this building are the equivalent of 4 U.S. football fields. And we're going to be going by this here for a while. The center part was completed in 1921, and the arm parts were put in 1934. The firm again was Graham Anderson Probst and White. The post office doesn't have a river running through it. You'll notice it actually has a highway running through it. So why such a massive post office? It was the largest in the world at the time, and it was because of our mail order catalog business. And also, you couldn't send mail from Connecticut to Colorado without coming through Chicago. It's important that people should be able to live, work, play, have all their amenities by where they live. And if you look here in River City, you can see some residents at the top, health clinic for people work in the middle, and then they've got a marina where they play, and the marina at River City is actually an aerated marina. So if you want to keep your boat in the frigid Chicago River all year long, you could get a place here in River City. I don't know if those boats with the aerated can get out on the river, but I have heard they can. So that aerated marina. Now if we go straight on the boat, we're going to be to the side of the big ditch. We're going to be at the Chicago Sanitary Ship Canal. That's where they reverse the river. Then we're going to flow into the Des Plaines River. Then we're going to flow into the Illinois River. And then we're going to go down and have a beer with our friends in St. Louis. Now, all over the city, there's been a very severe drought since July of that year. There's been virtually no rain. There are very strong prevailing southwest winds blowing that night. The river is in a week. The Great Chicago Fire, all our friends in Boston and New York, and the East Coast came to help us. And we put up 1,600 temporary structures to start rebuilding the city. And within 2 years of the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, by 1873, the city had doubled in size, and we actually hosted kind of a technology fair on terracotta and fireproof materials. So what started the Great Conflagration? This is O'Leary's town, and this is O'Leary's barn, was a milk barn. She's Irish. Children playing with matches, a lot of kids back then. Men playing poker. 1 o'clock, you could see a pyramid building with a statue up on the top. That is our 1930 Chicago Board of Trade. That statue, it's Art Deco, is Ceres, the goddess of rain. C-E-R-E-S, which is where the word cereal comes from. And if you look right below, you see another pyramid. Right below that, big pyramid, little pyramid with an octagon on the top. That's a postmodern edition where it's kind of nodding back to the goddess of rain and trade. This is the Willis Tower. It was completed in 1974, and it was designed by the firm of Skidmore, Owens & Merrill. It was the tallest building in the world from 1974 to 1998. Sears was the biggest retailer in the world. We wanted the biggest building in the world. It's a tall order because our soil here is like peanut butter. So Foster Pond and Bruce Grant from Skidmore and Merrill come up with this idea of bundled tube construction. 9 individual mid-century modern tubes bundled together in the Potawatomi. And it's really their story. They cattle these areas in the merch factories. It tells the unbroken story of Chicago architecture. And when Marquette Joliet was cattle in these waters, so the indigenous people helped them along the way. And there was a ramp-like plant on the side of these rivers, and it was called Chappaqua. And it was in the Allen family, or like of advance, like you might write it in a farmer's market. And then the Europeans name, they change the name from Chicago to Chicago. Now let's go left. We have a massive formation that runs down to the river. This is the merchant. The Mart is also a sustainable building, gold certified. The Mart takes river water underneath. At night, turns it into ice to refrigerate 70 buildings in the afternoon. We're going to stay on the left here. Next across the bridge, the brick building, with the clock at the top. There's another historic building. You should see that historic prairie style again. It's the Reed-Woodall building home to the Encyclopedia Britannica. That's a great restaurant here. But you notice the clock in that building, and people didn't have all of the phone devices we had today back then. So the buildings back at this time had clocks, so people would know if they were on time for work. And if you're trying to get to work in the that organist I talked about 1962 to 1967. We like the plasticity of concrete. These have a massive spine where the elevators are. You hardly have the trees, like leaves in a tree, trunk of a tree. But he wanted affordable housing, and they're one of these beautiful community suburbs. These were the tallest apartment buildings in the world. But 80% of people that live here, and I think today can walk to work. Now, if you look at the curved shape, I have to have a valet to park these cars and stuff. This complex also included across the windows, which is an bowling alley for the people that live on the tower right behind it. These iconic towers have been featured is designed by this firm of Howell and Brook. It is considered historic, neo-Gothic style of architecture. Robert McCormick, the publisher of the Tribune, he wanted the world's greatest office building for the world's greatest newspaper, where we get our WG income. And he had a competition, and McCormick had served in France during World War I. And he was very inspired by the cathedrals there. And so we got buttresses at the top of the Tribune building. And now it's converted to residence because buttresses are not supported there. But therefore they're strictly decorative. And if you have time after the tour, if you go look at the Tribune building at the base, there's different pieces of the Great Wall of China, Western Strategy. You can just walk around and see the pieces around the airport. I think it looks like Rockefeller Center, but it really doesn't. It was completed in 1989, so it's not Art Deco like Rockefeller Center. It's not a heritage site. Adrian Smith was the designer. It does have that Art Deco elements. The Buckley series kind of goes around those kind of modern factories for Europe. These are supportive businesses, and they also kind of put so much more zoning. I like to kind of do zoning. I like to do this on a little more than that. So that is now let's look at the street Richard Drive there. Let's look past that over on the left and take a look at the black 3-piece Culver building standing out there by itself. That is Great Point Tower. It is considered a modernist building. It was completed in 1968. It, with Marina City, one of the tallest apartment buildings in the world. And we don't think our government more would like this building very much. Because this area was not zoned for building. It was zoned as harbor. And so they didn't have to keep the code. So when the building was built, they said it was a harbor enhancement. And shortly after that, they tightened up the code to build initially It's a beautiful space. It's super good. Parts of the Copper's Lake, overlooking the region of Hotel. Alice Cooper lived there. Tom Cruise when he was filming the movie. And one of my favorites, Helen Mirren. There is the size of the original Ferris wheel from the World's Fair. That original Ferris wheel had bridge building technology, and those cars held up 40 people, lifting in that big Ferris wheel. Navy Pier was used during World War II to train Navy pilots. Originally it's for Blueberries from Michigan. And during World War II, we had a naval base up on the lake. Pilots would take off and then land on steamers. It was a safe place for the pilots to practice. And Lake Michigan actually has 100-gallon planes from those exercises. Alright, I'm going to be quiet. We do have a nice photo. Sometimes the sun blocks us. And let you snap a picture of our Grand Canyon of architecture. And as I like to say, Chicago, my kind of thing.
Alright, so that was a boat tour, the architecture. So what do you think, Miss Crispin?
It's great. It's one of the very best tours we have ever made. I mean, not even the one in London, the bus rides and all that, it's
Yeah.
even better. So
Yeah, it's very different because you're in a boat and you get to see all of Chicago's incredible architecture, Art Deco, modern, like all sorts of architecture, buildings and stuff. So
and how the city began.
how the city began. So guys, I hope you like this video. We're gonna continue our adventure here in Chicago. So let's see what happens in the next few minutes. Maybe get something to eat. Maybe go to Lake Michigan. We'll see.